Hello students, in the last class I explained types of modulus of elasticity, that is Y denotes for Young's modulus and eta denotes for this one modulus of rigidity or shear modulus, and next one is K is denoted for bulk modulus, right. Then the reciprocal of bulk modulus is called as compressibility. For competitive point, write note. You know that Young's modulus Y is equals to F L divided by A into delta L. For wire F you can consider it as M into G, and area you can consider it as pi r square. If this Y is constant, that means it is not depend upon dimensions, right, depend upon material. If Y is constant, definitely this elongation, the delta L, the change in length is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to area. If area is more, the change in length is less. If length is more, initial length, then change in length is more. And you can also write as delta if L is also constant, if length is also, L is also constant, then this change in length, the change in length is inversely proportional to area. Area means that is pi r square, where pi is constant, you can write it as r square. Okay, remember these formulas. Delta L is inversely proportional to r square for solids. Young's modulus is for solids. And if volume is constant, that means we have this formula, right? So I'll write here delta L is equals to F L divided by A into Y. In this formula I considered Y is constant, F is constant, and volume is also constant, means so here there is no volume. For that I will multiply and divided by L. By doing like this, I can consider area into length as volume, meter square and meter, it has volume, and here L into L square. If volume A into L is constant, Y is constant, then delta L, change in length, is directly proportional to L square, right. Then the change in length, we can write one more formula. Here in the first method I written, that means I multiplied and divided by L. Second I can write like this, I can multiply and divided by A also. Here also A into L become volume. Here A into A become A square. If volume is constant, the change in length is inversely proportional to A square. So A square means the change in length is inversely proportional to area, means pi r square. Pi r square whole square means it will become pi r to the power 4. So remember these formulas in Young's modulus. Okay. It is useful to solve competitive problems. Yes, completed. I hope you are written. And next, the important concept is called stress strain curve. So experimentally we can obtain the relation between stress and strain. Okay, for that, to understand the relation between stress and strain, let us consider the graph between in y-axis I will consider stress, and in x-axis I will consider strain. Okay. Then this is origin. Let us take this point as O. When there is no stress, the strain is also 0. So here let us consider a rigid support and a rod. Okay. And let us consider the length of the rod initially is 1 meter. We have not attached any weight or load to this rod, hence there is no stress in the rod, so there will be no strain. Then if we add some weight to this rod means, so initially I will add 1 kg block. So because of this 1 kg block, I will assume that the length increased is 1 millimeter. Okay, and the same reading I will plot here. For 1 kg block, the length increased is 1 millimeter, and this is the corresponding strain, and this is the corresponding stress. Okay, this is the corresponding strain means for 1 millimeter, and this is the corresponding stress means this is for 1 kg. Similarly, I will add 1 more kg, and I observed that 1 more millimeter length was increased. So again, for another 1 kg block, the length was increased is 1 millimeter. Next 3 kg, 4 kg, 5 kg, we will get a straight line, and this line indicates that stress is directly proportional to strain. That means 5 kg block is added, 5 kg block is added, the total length increased was 5 millimeter. Next what I will do, I will remove all those 5 kg block, and I used to see that initially it is 1 millimeter length, right? By increasing the weight, the length has increased 5 millimeter. So after removing all these 5 kg block, again the length is restored. Again the length become 1 millimeter. Okay. So here I can able to say that stress is directly proportional to strain, and also if you remove the block means if you make stress as 0, the strain produced is also 0. And after 5 kg, I keep on increasing 1 more kg. And I used to see that what is the length was increased. Up to 5 kg, you know that the length increased is 5 millimeter. After adding 1 more kg, normally the length would be increased still 1 millimeter more, right? But I used to see that the length increased still more. Let us consider the length increased is for 6 kg, 6.5 millimeter. For each kg, we are observing the increasing length is 1 millimeter. But for next 1 kg, after 5 kg, next 1 kg, the length increased was 1.5 millimeter. So we can say that up to this point, that point name I will give it as A. Up to A point, stress is directly proportional to strain, and this point name is called as proportional limit. A point is named called as proportional limit. And 6 kg weight we have added, but the length increased was more, but I want to see that whether it will regain its shape or not. So what I did, I removed all the 6 kg, but I saw that again the length was restored to 1 meter. From this I can again conclude that Although after point A, stress is not directly proportional, but if you remove the weight, again the original length is restored. This is up to 6 kg. Then I increased a small weight. Up to here I added 1 kg, right? Here I added 0.5 kg. For 0.5 kg only, the strain produced is, that means the length increased is very more. That means I can say that up to this point, up to A point, it is proportional. After A point, from this point, okay, from B point to, let us consider from B point to D point. For even small weight, the strain produced is, for even small stress, the strain produced is very large. And we know that up to B point, if you remove all the load, definitely it regains its original length. It restored its original length. And after 6 kg, I added 0.5 kg, right? After 6 kg, I added 0.5 kg, and I used to see that whether if you remove all the load, 6.5 kg, it will regain the length or not. What I observed is, after removing 6.5 kg, the length was not restored. Okay, so this is 6 kg point. Up to here, the length is restored. After the 6 kg, I added 6.5 kg, but after removing all the 6.5 kg, the length is not restored. Okay, even stress is 0. Removing all the weight means stress is 0, but the strain is not 0. The strain comes to somewhere here. That means the length has permanently changed. That is nearly 1%. Okay, up to 1%, the length is nearly changed. So that point I will give it as C, and this point I will give it as P. O to P, it is called as permanent. O to P, it is called as permanent set. Okay, and A point is called as proportional limit, and B point is there now. This B point is called as yield point. Yield point or elastic, yield point or elastic limit. Okay, that means we can say that up to A point, stress proportional to strain. If you remove the load, means if you make stress 0, strain also become 0. But A to B point, the stress is not directly proportional to strain. Even though if you make stress 0, strain also become 0. That means it restores its original length. But after B point, that means after yield point, for every material there will be a yield point. After that yield point, whatever weight you apply, whatever stress you give, that means from B to D, even for a small stress, the strain produced is large. You can see in the graph, up to A to B, the strain is this much only, but the stress is from this point to this point. For this much stress, the strain produced is small. Above B point, from this point to this point, the strain is very large, but corresponding stress, you see, the stress is very small. Even for small stress B to D, strain produced is very large. Experimentally we are observing these facts, and the stress corresponding to B point, okay, B point name is called yield point. The stress corresponding to B point is denoted by sigma y. This is called yield strength. Okay, this is called yield strength. So here again in that example 6.5 kg only we have added, right? Then again add 0.5 kg, very small weight, or 250 grams you had, the strain produced will be very large. That means here the length is increasing. Okay, finally it is reaching the maximum value, and this D point corresponding stress is denoted by sigma u. And what is this sigma u means? Sigma u is called as ultimate tensile stress. Okay, so we may applied 8 kg block, it is reached the maximum value. Then after the length is increasing means the radius is decreasing, it will decrease and the rod become very thin. Finally what happens means it will breaks, isn't it? If the stress reaches this D point, that point is called ultimate, that point is the corresponding stress is called ultimate tensile stress. What happens means it will breaks. Or even though you decrease some weight, okay, already you added 8 kg, you don't want to break that wire, so you want to save that wire. For that what you did, 0.5 kg, 1 kg you have removed, but then also it is not going to save. That means finally at some point T, this wire or this rod going to break, and that point is called as fracture. That point is called as fracture point. Okay, so here what you have to remember means what happens in proportional limit, then what is this yield point, and at C point if you remove the load what happens, and B to D what is happening, then D to E at point T actually what happens. Once again I'll repeat, that is O to A point. O to A point is what? That A point is called as proportional limit. Stress directly proportional to strain, hence straight line, right? And stress directly proportional to strain means it is obeying Hooke's law. And if a stress is 0, that means if you remove all the load, the strain also become 0. That means the wire will regain original length. A to B stress is not directly proportional, okay, but if you remove all the weight, definitely the wire will regain its original size and shape. From B to D point, even for a small stress, the strain produced is very large. In between you will see C point, no, after B point wherever you remove the load, the wire or rod will not regain its original length. It will not restore its original length. That deformation is called as plastic deformation. And at D point it attains maximum stress, okay, that is called as, you can say, breaking stress, or this point you can say it as a breaking point. If we apply the stress corresponding to breaking point, then after you can remove some load also, it is not escape from breaking. Finally it will break at some point, that point as E, that point is called as fracture point. This is the behavior of the material under tensile stress. Then one question in so many exams they asked, out of steel and rubber, which is more elastic? which will shows the elastic property more out of steel and rubber. Okay, so the answer is steel is more elastic than rubber. Why? Because you can apply force to rubber. For example, 5 Newton force you apply, it will easily increase its length. The same 5 Newton force you apply for steel, the length increased is less than comparing to rubber. So to get the same increased length, we have to apply more force, right? So how to consider which material is more elastic, which is material is less elastic means, to provide small increase in length, for which material it need large force, then that material is more elastic. So here steel is more elastic than rubber. Then how the rubber will behave? For that we can plot a graph. Okay, this is also graph between strain and this one, stress and strain. You can imagine a rubber. If you apply small force initially, it will show very large increase in length. That means for small stress, the increase in length is very large. You can stretch the rubber. Initially it is very easy. After that, to increase a small amount of length, you need to apply a large force. So here in the graph you can see, for this much of strain you need very small stress, right? Then for this small amount of strain you need a very large amount of stress. So this is the graph between, this is the graph for, you can consider rubber. So rubber is called as this property. This property means for small stress, it is not obeying most of the region not obeying Hooke's law. It is not directly proportional, and this type of graphs the substance will have those are called as elastomers. Okay, so it exhibits the property called elastomers. And one more experimental demonstration is there in this chapter, that is to find the value of y. Okay, experiment to find the value of y, where y is called as Young's modulus. So how we can able to find the value of Young's modulus of different materials through experiment means, let us consider this is a rigid support. Okay, and in this rigid support, two wires are suspended. These two wires made up of same material and it is having same radius. Okay, so this wire name, let us give it as A, and this wire name, let us give it as B, where wire A is called reference, wire and wire B is called experimental, wire B is called as experimental wire. What is our intention means, we need to find the value of y of this wire. Okay, and this wire, to this wire a pan is attached to this wire. In wire means there may be some kinks means like this, right? To make the wire to be very straight, initially a small load I can able to place. So same as this wire also, to make it as very straight and stiff, to remove the kinks, So it is also attached a pan. In this pan, equal amount of load is added. Okay, the length is also same initially. On both the wires, initially same load is added to make the wire to be very straight. And for this reference wire, there is a scale, millimeter scale. Okay, a scale is attached, millimeter scale. And this reference wire is also having another scale that is called as vernier scale. So by using this vernier scale, we can get accurate value. You will came to know about later. You will came to know later about what is meant by vernier scale. Just you listen. By using the vernier scale, the answer, the result will come. No, that the result is very, very accurate. And for this experimental wire, this is a pointer. Okay. In this pointer, we can able to see the initial reading. And then what we will do means, we will keep on adding the weights to another pan. 1 more kg. Then what you used to see, the length was increased. This pointer will comes down. 2 kg, 3 kg, some weight we will add. The pointer will changes its position. We can able to find the initial reading and final reading. Then we can able to find what finally, that is a change in length, delta L we can able to find. And we know that this Y is equals to stress by strain means F by A delta L by L. This is the formula. In this formula, where F is, here Y equals, you know that F means here mg and into L divided by A. A means you can consider the area of that wire, pi r square into delta L. We can able to find the mass, and this is a constant value, acceleration due to gravity. And initially we can find the length, and here pi is constant value. R means we can find out the radius of the wire also. Then how to find this delta L means through this experiment. So the difference in final reading minus initial reading, that will give the change in length. Substituting every value, definitely we can able to find the value of Young's modulus of a material. Okay, now we are at end of this chapter, that is mechanical properties of solids. So the last one is application of elasticity. So in practical life, that means in day-to-day life, where we can use this elasticity application of elasticity. Let us consider a slab. Okay, a slab, it is placed on this surface at the ends. Here there is no surface. Then if you apply some weight, or force on this slab, definitely what you will observe means it will bend like this. Okay, the length of the slab will increases, it will bend like this as we apply force on this slab. So it changes its shape. As soon as we remove the weight or force, then we may observe also it may regain its original position. That property, you know that is elasticity property, right? And also you know, for every material there is a yield point. Above yield point, if you apply force, the corresponding stress, what happens means it may not regain its original size and shape. Or if the force is very, very large, it crosses the ultimate tensile stress, ultimate tensile strength, right? If you apply that much of force, are called breaking stress, then what happens means this slab may break also. So we should know that what should be the minimum force we have to apply, such that always it should regains the original size and shape. And here this distance is called as depression. We should not want to break this slab, means always the depression value should be less, in such a way that we have to apply force. If the depression value become more, means definitely at some point the slab will breaks. And here this application day to day life we can observe in constructing bridges and flyovers, isn't it? So the formula is given for this depression. That formula, depression del is equals to, direct formula this is, on what factor the depression depends, means W means weight, it depends upon length, it is given as L cube. That means more weight is applying on this slab, okay, definitely the depression is more. And in place of that means it is having some length L, right? So suppose if we take more length, then also the depression will more. This is L cube. Suppose if we increase the length 2 times, the depression will increases by 8 times. So it is directly proportional to length, that is L cube, and directly proportional to weight, and WL cube by the formula is given as 4BD cube, okay, where B is called breadth and D is called depth. Okay. And we can say the depression is inversely proportional to breadth, and it is inversely proportional to that means D cube. That means if the depth value is more, the depression will decreases. If that means the depth is increased by 2 times, the depression decreases by 8 times. Separate diagram I will write, you may understand this concept. Okay, let us consider the same slab. I am writing here, this is the slab, and let us consider this is length, okay. So this side, this is length, and this is called depth, and this is called breadth, okay. On what factors it depends means, if length is more, depression is more, and if the depth is more, the depression is very very less, and if the breadth is more also, the depression is very very less. For example, consider you can take an example of scale, I will show here. So if you consider this is a scale, then what happens, if you apply more force, it may have some depression, right? So suppose if I want to increase the depth, here the depth is only 1 centimeter or 1 centimeter nearly. So I will increase the depth. How I can able to increase the depth means in this way. Now you can see the depth is increased. So the same force you apply now, it will not create any depression. So by increasing the depth, we can reduce the depression. And because of this, while constructing bridges, you may have seen a I-shaped beam. You may have seen this I-shaped beam. Right. That means here, by placing these I-shaped beams, we can increase the depth. If the length is more means, definitely the depression will be more. By placing the I-shaped beams, we can reduce the length also, length of the rod also, and also we can increase the depth also. In such a way, we can reduce the depression. Okay, in place of this I-beam, we can use this block also, right? So what is the need of using I-shaped beam? So it is also having same depth, it is also having same breadth, isn't it? So here the material cost is less because this part is having no material. But here if you place a full part, means we need more material. The material cost will be high. And one more, it depends upon one more factor. That factor is y, 4bd cube y, where y is called what? Young's modulus. So if we have by using very high value of material, the very high value of y, if you use that material, definitely again the depression forming here becomes very less. Okay. This is one practical application of elasticity. Remember this formula, it may ask in competitive exam. And one more concept useful for competitive, that is for JEE or NEET exam. Okay, the concept called elastic potential energy. Elastic potential energy. So, how to understand this elastic potential energy means, again the same examples here. A rod is suspended by from a ceiling. Okay. Up to now we have not considered the weight of the rod. In this concept I will consider the weight of the rod. Even though we are not applying any weight to this rod, this rod length will increases, okay, due to its own weight. That means initially before suspending, these are the space between atoms. Now after suspending, the interatomic distance will increases and also restoring force will develops. To understand this elastic potential energy, we have to take an example of spring. Okay, the same analogy here. That means if you apply force on the spring, then what happens? The spring will expand. The spring will expands by what distance? Let us consider it as x distance. Then you leave the spring here, definitely it will go back to its original position. Why? Because we have applied the force and there will be a displacement. Force multiplied by displacement is nothing but work done. So whatever work we did, that work is stored in the form of energy. What type of energy means? Potential energy in the spring. Okay. And here in this example, in the spring, it is going back towards its initial position, means definitely a force is developed in the spring. Again, what type of force means? We have studied in starting only, that is restoring force. Okay, a restoring force will develop, and whatever work we will do now, that work will be stored in the form of its potential energy. For that the formula is given. Actually you will study in work energy power chapter. For a spring, the restoring force is given as F is equal to minus kx, where F is called restoring force and K is called spring constant. So it will defines the stiffness of the spring, and X is called distance. That means F is directly proportional to displacement, where F is called restoring force. So more displacement you do, more restoring force will develop in the spring. So F is directly proportional to X. and its proportionality constant is K. It is depend upon again nature of material. This formula is for restoring force for spring. Okay, then how much potential energy will develop here? The potential energy formula is given as half kx square. These two formulas belongs to spring. In track 1 you will study all these things. Okay, just here I am giving the formulas like that you see, and I will explain this concept, that is F equals minus kx, that is restoring force developed in the spring, and potential energy formula is half kx square. So here you can see atoms of the spring, that is before applying the force. After applying the force, the interatomic distance is increased, right? Because of that, a restoring force is developed and the potential energy is stored. Similarly, before suspending, this is the interatomic distance. Once you suspend to this ceiling, the interatomic distance increased. Because of that, restoring force also increases, as well as the potential energy also stored in the rod. We are finding what is the potential energy stored in this rod. Okay, that is due to elasticity. And here F equals minus kx, U equals half kx square. We know that Y equals F by A, here delta L by L. This is the formula we have for Young's modulus, F by A, L by delta L. In the place of delta L, this delta L means if atomic distance is increased, means the length also increases. The change in length is delta L. This delta L in this example I will consider it as del. Okay, the delta L I will replace it by del. So this is Young's modulus for solids, F by A, L by delta. Then in that formula, and here you can see the value of F equals Y A, this elongation delta divided by the original length L. And F, here also the restoring force will develop, right? The negative sign is for the restoring force is in opposite direction to displacement. So just magnitude I will take K into X. K into X is equals to Y A delta divided by L. This is the value of F. And you can able to observe that X and this del, this is also elongation, this is also displacement. What is the value of K means? The value of K is, we can able to write it as YA divided by L. Okay, this is the value of K. Y means Young's modulus, A means area of the rod, L means length of the rod. Then what is potential energy formula? Potential energy formula is given as half kx square. That is U is equals to half, value of K is Y A divided by L. Here x square means in this case in the rod, what is x here? X is nothing but this elongation delta L, del square. And what is del square formula? Here you can see in this formula, del is equals to, that is F by A, F divided by A, L divided by Y. You just shift delta that side. So this is the value of delta L or delta, change in length. Then delta square is there, no, we can write F square L square divided by A square into Y square. So definitely here this square L and YA in this square will get cancelled. What is the expression we got? That is 1 by 2 F square divided by A, F square divided by A, and here L divided by Y. This is the formula we got as potential energy, elastic potential energy stored in the rod due to its own weight. Okay, because due to own weight only we are considering the length of the rod is increased, and this is similar to the spring. Then other more formats also we can write for this elastic potential energy. What format means? U is equals to 1 by 2 F square divided by A L by Y. Okay, I will multiply and divide it by A. By multiplying and dividing A into L, I can consider it as volume, and A into A I can write it as A square into Y. So F by A, you know that stress. Then U equals F square by A square means directly you can write stress square by Y into V. This is one more format of elastic potential energy. And then U is equals to, other methods means 1 by 2 F by A. I will write it as like this, F square, I will split F square as F by A into F, 1 by 2 into F into F L divided by A, and again multiplying by A into A. So U equals 1 by 2 F by A is nothing but stress FL by Y. FL by Y means here this is L, right, this is A. Okay, so change in length by original length. Change in length we have denoting by delta, right? Change in length by original length. This L you bring this side. If you bring this L this side, then change in length by original length become FA by Y. This is nothing but strain, change in length by original length. In this formula you can see F A by Y, F A by Y, I can able to write it as change in length by original length. Change in by length by original length is nothing but strain, isn't it? F Y and A, then L into A I can write it as volume. So this is other format of elastic potential energy. Remember these formulas, okay, to find the elastic potential energy in the rod. This concept only for competitive exam.